What's going on, guys? Troll Pal CHH here. So we just looked at the Tremors II Arrow Video Deluxe Collector's Edition release, and it got me thinking, why don't we look at my collection of Arrow Video horror collector's edition releases, the chunky box releases is what we call them, because these are what I think Arrow developed the perfect kind of release for a collector's edition. That chunky box, it's hard as a rock. You get your movie, you get a nice booklet, you get a poster. It's really the perfect kind of release. So I didn't grab all of them. I grabbed the horror ones. But I want to look at the collection with you guys right here, the ones I have. Some of these are out of print. There is one, though, that I will tell you to actually go try to get, if you can get it at a decent price, because it's that good. But let's get started. Some of these are 4K, some of these are Blu-ray. The first one, this is kind of a genre-bending film, but I want to bring it up. Donnie Darko, the Arrow Video 4K for Donnie Darko. This did have some sort of issue where it didn't play right on certain players. My players were all fine. I have Sony players. But great movie. Again, it's a very genre-bending film, but the cast in this, Gyllenhaal, then you got Drew Barrymore, and I think Patrick Swayze's in this. You got music from Tears for Fears in here. You got the legendary Frank the Bunny. I love Frank the Bunny. Donnie Darko is an interesting movie, and this one actually came with a hardbound book. Legendary film. This is one of those movies that just gains more and more fans as the years go by, and for good reason. It's something else. It's a psychedelic, trippy, dark time travel movie. I love it. I love Donnie Darko. Next up, guys, I reviewed this not long ago. The beauty about being 4K, if you're a 4K person now, is you no longer have to worry about regions. You don't have to worry about having a region locked, region anything, because 4K as a format, I still feel like people are learning this. 4K, the format of 4K UHD, is completely region-free natively. That means you don't have to buy a region-free 4K player. You buy a 4K player, you can buy a 4K movie from anywhere around the world. Blu-ray is region-locked, where you've got region A, B, C, D. But 4K, it doesn't matter where you buy the movie, from what country or anything. It will play in your player. So with that being said, Arrow Video put out House by the Cemetery, and this is gorgeous art on here. I love this. Fulci, you don't get much better than Fulci. I love this kind of gross pukish green color with this. It just works so well. There you got Dr. Freudstein. This was a gorgeous 4K. This is a great release by Arrow. You get your booklet in there. You get your movie on 4K. They had another cover, too, which I think was actually this for the box. But I ended up going with the House by the Cemetery with this artwork because I loved it. But yeah, you could have gotten a box with this color, too. So that's another thing that's great about Arrow, is they kind of give you some options with these kinds of hard boxes, too. So that's really cool. But yeah, this came out not long ago, so you can probably still get this retail online from Diabolic DVD or something. The House by the Cemetery Arrow Video Collector's Release. Love it. Love it to death. If I had one complaint about these releases, it's that they do take up shelf space. But it is what it is. Okay, guys, listen. This release, I get offers on it whenever I talk about it, whenever I post about it. I don't know if this movie's ever going to get a 4K. I don't know if Arrow Video can get the rights to it or not to do that. I don't know. This release is my favorite Arrow Video Collector's Edition release. And the funny thing is, this is before they really adapted it into that hard shell case kind of thing. But I love this release. You ready? Bride of ReAnimator from Arrow Video. Look at this beauty. This movie is my favorite ReAnimator film of all time. I think it's better than the first movie. I know, sacrilege to some. Bride of ReAnimator is perfect. It's equal parts classic Universal monster horror. It's incredibly funny, incredibly dark. The two doctors, the guy that was dating Barbara Crampton in the first movie's back in here with Jeffrey Combs. It's a great movie, but this Arrow Video Collector's release went out of print very quick. You can get the movie still. I think they have a steelbook that's available, but this collector's edition release is all that and a bag of chips. And for some reason, it didn't last very long. But if you're going to try to get your hands on anything that's out of print, I think this one's okay to try to get. This ReAnimator release is everything. My favorite ReAnimator film, guys. If you haven't seen Bride of ReAnimator, you're truly missing out. It's so good. It's incredible. Next up, guys, again, being, if you're 4K, you're region free, Arrow Video put out Phenomena. Dario Argento's Phenomena, a.k.a. Creepers. And what's cool is they actually put out a release of this kind of hard shell box with the Creepers artwork on it. Kind of wish I had gotten that one, looking back. But regardless, you know, you get all your cuts of the movie on here. Arrow Video does a nice, beautiful, chunky box for this. You got your booklet. Like, it's the same thing. Like, this is the perfect kind of collector's release. I think fans really love this kind of packaging. So, yeah, Phenomena is one that I love. I never really usually keep these tabs on here, like, you know, with all the information. But for some reason, this one just kind of survived. Let me know if you keep those on there or not. I typically take them off. Okay, so this was a really fun movie, guys. This came out, unfortunately, you may be able to get the standard edition of this now, but this came out last year or the year before. It came out at the end of the year. This movie was awesome. It was so cool that Arrow Video gave the deluxe treatment to this. Phantom of the Mall, a.k.a. Eric's Revenge. This is such a nice release. Pauly Shore's in here. This is a really great horror film with a great... The Phantom of the Mall song at the end I remember loving. But this is such a cool release. I love the artwork for that. That's Justin Osborne art. And again, you get your movie on Blu-ray and you get your booklet. This is such a fun movie. This is a movie I recommend not only seeing, but just buying. Whether you want to try to get the collector's edition on eBay, or, I don't know, it may still be available. I don't know how long some of these last. But if not, you can probably just get what's considered the standard version of Phantom of the Mall now. But it's so good. Any slasher movie fan would love this. It's such a fun movie. I adore Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. And here's the funny thing. I think they even talked about calling it Eric's Revenge because sequels were such a popular thing by this point that they thought people would be more interested in seeing it if it sounded like a sequel. So that's why it's called Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge, like it's a part 2. It's not a part 2. It's a part 1. It's awesome. I love this movie to death. Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge is great. Easily one of my favorite Arrow Video chunky box releases. This is... I want to say they actually put this one back in circulation. Hills Have Eyes Part 2. The interesting thing about this one, this is the skinniest chunky box they ever did. Now, you're looking at that and you're probably saying, well, Christian, it looks the same to me. For some reason, this one is just skinnier. I don't know why. See? It just is. This one's skinnier than every other one. I don't know why, but I don't know. But Hills Have Eyes Part 2 is not a good movie, but it is a good movie. It's ridiculous. There's a dog flashback scene in here. Yes, the dog has a flashback. I like it, but it's over the top ridiculous. And Wes Craven admitted to making this movie because he just needed a job. He didn't really want to revisit this. This was 1984, I think. Might have been right around the time of Elm Street. But it's fun. It's fun. I'll give it that. It's very fun. I just want to watch. I really want to watch Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge right now. Like, it's in my blood. It's such a fun movie. I hope somebody resonates with that because it's fun. This one's nice, guys. This is the chunky box ReAnimator. Now this, I think, goes for a pretty penny too. Are they going to do this movie on 4K? You would think they would try to. But again, this is another release that goes for a lot of money. This collector's edition of ReAnimator. I managed to just get this, and this was as they were figuring out the format at this point, guys. So this was an early chunky box release where they finally started doing a hardcover. But instead of doing a Blu-ray case like people just like, this is when they were still doing the opening kinds of, you know, that kind of packaging, the fold out. Well, they still kind of do that. They did that with Hellraiser. But I don't think people were really into that one. But we'll look at that one again. I gotta grab that one off the shelf. I kind of forgot about it. We'll look at that at the end. But yeah, this Hellraiser one, I mean this ReAnimator one is one that people will try to make offers to me for it, and I can't. I love it. I got this at a FYE right when it came out. I was lucky enough to be able to get some of these Arrow releases when they were released, and some of them just didn't last long. Next up, guys, this was a big deal. So this ended up getting a 4K chunky box release as well, but I didn't get it. I stuck a lot of these chunky box releases for some of the horror titles. If they got 4K upgrades, because the Blu-rays were 4K scan negatives from the, or 4K scans from the negative as well, they look so good. I was like, I'm fine. I gotta hold off for some stuff. This was a title that I did hold off on, and again, it looks incredible. This was a big deal when this got announced, guys. American Werewolf in London. When Arrow Video announced they were doing this, it was a big deal. They treated it like a big deal. The artwork on this is pretty insane. It's probably some of the best art that they ever did. I even like the, you know, you can see the transformation, evolution on there. 2019 restoration from the camera negative. So this Blu-ray looks incredible. I'm sure the 4K looks even better. The 4K release was identical to this. They just put this out. You got the chunky box release as well, but it came with a 4K disc release in here. But yeah, this is probably artwork-wise some of the best work that Arrow ever did. I mean, just impeccable. I mean, I don't need to sell it. Just look at it. Great movie. I catch a lot of hell from people because I consider The Howling better than this movie. Not better. I prefer it. That's not fair. That's not fair at all. I prefer The Howling, and people always give me crap because I feel like it's 2-1 American Werewolf, which I respect, you know. Alright, guys, this brings back memories. This was the very first run of this movie. They ended up doing some sequel runs. Not sequel runs. They ended up just doing repressings for it, and sometimes they even did different colors, but this was the initial U.S. run release for Creepshow 2. I was over the moon excited because by that point, I was already a really big fan of Creepshow 2. Such a charming, fun movie. And this release is nice. Another chunky box release. And by this point, this was after ReAnimator, so this is when they started giving us the Blu-ray cases. They got it down to a science. They figured out what the fans... When you really break it down, I want to say that Arrow is the best company. They find something that they find something that the fans like, then they fine-tune it. So they started doing chunky box releases. People love that. Then they were like, what if we made them like harder? And people like the durability of that. They like the style of that. Okay, cool, let's do that. Boom. And then they were like, I think people really just like Blu-ray cases. They like cases. They don't like the fold-outs. And so they got it down to a science, and it's just perfect. We love the booklets. Yeah, Creepshow 2, still available from Arrow Video. Incredible sequel. Again, this is a sequel. Creepshow 2 is a sequel that I hear more people say they like that than Creepshow. It's much more whimsical. It's much more, not kid-friendly, because it's actually a pretty adult-themed movie, especially the raft segment. But it has this whimsical nature to it that is so lovable. The sound of the music. There's something about Creepshow 2. It's got that X factor. Like, I get it. I love it as much as myself. Next up, guys, this is a 4K release of Candyman. Now, this was something that, you know, just really outperformed the American release, which was Scream Factory's release. Scream Factory just did they did a good 4K release with the original artwork on the front and everything, but Arrow put this really nice release out, chunky box release of Candyman on 4K collector's edition, and I believe you can reverse the artwork to have the poster art on this as well, which I don't think I did. Yeah, you can. I may as well. And let me see if it actually has the extended scenes in here, because there is some extended gore in Candyman that was brought in on the Blu-ray release. I remember that was a big deal. 2 cuts, the R-rated cut and the original UK theatrical cut, featuring the alternate, more graphic footage presented via seamless branching. So, yes, they do, of course. Which is, it's not a whole lot of footage, but it's the scene where, you remember the scene in Candyman where Helen is brought to the mental ward. She's brought into the doctor's office. The doctor's talking to her, and all of a sudden the doctor's like, ugh, and you like, what's going on? Then you see Candyman rise up from behind him. Well, that scene goes a little bit longer right there, and it's pretty gory. Great scene in that. This was one of the first chunky boxes I got. This was The Hills Have Eyes Part 1, which is a lot better than Part 2. I I like this movie a lot. I don't watch it that often, though. There's something about, like, some of those old Wes Craven films like this, Last House, which I don't own the Last House on the Left chunky box. I had the Steelbook version of it, but there was a chunky box for Last House on the Left. These are movies that, like, you have... I feel like a lot of us are kind of the same way. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I feel like it's like we have a lot of respect for movies like The Hills Have Eyes and Last House, but we don't watch them that often. We don't go through the act of wanting to revisit them. I feel like a lot of people are like that. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like I'm not alone on that. With that being said, though, this was a brand new 4K restoration of the film. Again, Blu-ray release. They did a 4K version of this, but a lot of times they did such a good job with the Blu-rays, I was just like, the jump's going to be there, but it's not going to be a big enough jump for me to be super excited about with getting the chunky box releases. That's what's really the difference maker, not so much that therefore... I mean, it's not... Yeah, it's really not so much that I think that it's 4K scanned Blu-rays. It's just... I have memories with these of when I got them and where I got them, and they already take up enough shelf space. So buying it again, getting another collector's edition, just sandwiching these two next to each other, because I can't sell them. I'm too sentimental. So a lot of times when I get chunky box releases from Arrow, if I get a Blu-ray one, I'm going to stick with that one. So I'm a weird cat, guys. I apologize. Next up, we have Beyond the Door. Now, this is a Dusty, I'm sorry. But Beyond the Door is an Exorcist ripoff. This came out, this is an Italian film, I believe. Yeah, it has to be. But this one was limited to 3,000 units, so I'm sure this one sold out too. Beyond the Door is a gross, nasty movie. Like I said, it's definitely an Exorcist ripoff, but there's a scene in the beginning of this movie. I'm going to gag talking to you about this. But in the beginning of the movie, there's this kid with... Oh, God. There's a kid riding in the backseat of a convertible car. I'm getting sick. He's got a Campbell's soup can with a little hole punched in the top with a straw in it. It's disgusting. I can't. I get sick thinking about it. Oh, God. The little bastard is drinking the soup with the straw from the can. All right, let's move on. I'm not even kidding. This isn't a joke. It grosses me out. And what we just looked at yesterday was the brand new Tremors 2. Definitely get this, guys, if you want it. I ended up getting the Blu-ray version. I was looking at the comments for this. I told people I had gotten the Blu-ray release for this. This had a 4K collector's edition release, and so did this one. But because I had bought the Blu-ray release of this one, I just ended up getting the Blu-ray collector's edition of Tremors 2. They both look really, really good, but people were telling me that, Christian, you really should have got Tremors 1 on 4K. It looked incredible. I never denied that, and I still don't deny that. Just the fact of the matter is, I'm just saying that these Blu-ray versions look great because they're still 4K scans from the negative, which is still very important. But yeah, so these are brand new. Let's go look at Hellraiser again because that just came out, and that still might be available. I'm not sure. Quartet of Torment box set. It's really a box set. It's not a collector's edition. But I just wanted to show this off again in case you did not get this and you're just wondering if you should. This is such a great release. This is the contender for the best box set of the year. But I'm going to tell you what I think the best box set of the year is. Yeah, I did a full review on this. I'm going to link it down below. I went over every drop of detail on this. And again, this isn't a collector's edition. This is just a box set that came out this year. Best box set of the year, hands down, is the Psycho box set. Yes, over the Hellraiser box set. Yes, because look at this. Perfect packaging. Movies in Blu-ray cases. You got a nice big book. There's more special features in here than you can shake a stick at. There was a sit-down interview with Mick Garris and Tom Holland where they just talked with each other about the making of their films, and that was so good. They just let them talk. They just let them talk. It was amazing. This is 4K releases. Don't worry about that. If you have a 4K player, you can get this and play it in your player. It does not matter where you get it from. 4K is region free. I say it 1,000 times, but still I get questions about it. I'm not mad. I'm just trying to drive it home. You have the ability now to see anything, get any release from around the world with 4K. So guys, those are my horror limited edition Arrow Video box set releases, collector's editions. I also have the house box set, the 2 stories, and I also have the 4 stories box set, which are really cool, guys. They're really cool. I think House may be getting a 4K release soon. I hope it does, and I hope we get a nice, great release for that. But guys, those are awesome. Such great releases. I love Arrow Video. I think they are the best format. What is your favorite chunky box release from Arrow Video? Let me know down below, guys, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love y'all. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.